What is up, guys? Wolfgang here. So today I wanted to talk about the Barrow Dyad. Now, this exotic has had its ups and downs, especially with how long it took for all the catalysts to release and how long it took to get the catalysts. It's quite a grind. I won't go into that in this video. So if you want to find a guide, I can recommend Acid Crosses. It's the one I followed, so you can use that one if you want. But anyways, let's talk about Barrow Dyad. Now, I have all 4 catalysts for this one, and I've landed on target lock. Realistically, I think any of the catalysts are okay. I don't feel like it do enough of a difference, but for further on the video we'll talk about, I think target lock's just the best fit. So, let's get into it. Now, Barrow Dyad, our new Strand exotic SMG, our favorite little circle, is an interesting one. At the beginning, I really hated this gun. Especially with high impact reserves, it felt just awful. And then Hatchling came out. Hatchling was okay. One for all is very good, and target lock is good. So, what I want to get into with this video. This SMG is a weird one, is a weird weapon in my opinion, because you want to use this SMG in some interesting builds. Because I don't like it for add clear at all. I really do not like it. That is partially because I am a double rocket sidearm main usually. Basically always have Tenacious on my primary slot, and I switch between Lotus Eater, Aberrant Action, and Deaded I've left kind of in the dust for a bit, but I'll pull it out every once in a while. Or even Lemon Arc. With Arc Titan right now it's cooking, so using Barrow Dyad in my primary slot always leads to some interesting build decisions, because I don't like for add clear, but it really does keep up on damage, on single target damage for like a boss. I have a recording here, or well, 2 recordings. I did 2 dungeons with it for the Vespers host run. I mean, it was like, what, 500,000 damage less, but it kept up with a Queen Breaker, and I was just using a primary. Allowing me to use something like a machine gun on my heavy wood slot, or maybe an LFR if I wanted to at least do the weekend, which is I think that's what I did. I do Withering Gaze and Super, then unload Barrow Dyad on the Vespers host boss, or I could use an Eager Edge Sword if I wanted to. The flexibility is pretty nice, I can say that much. I also used pretty much the same setup in Warlord's Ruin, I think it's actually my favorite dungeon, and same thing. I used Barrow Dyad for damage and different weapons. Well, I was always using Lotus Eater. I just love Lotus Eater this season, but Barrow Dyad for damage, and swap to a well, I don't have the loadouts currently as I was doing a Center Doctrine run, but I would basically swap to something like this for damage, so I could do Withering Gaze, then Super with Cuirass, and then just fully lean into Barrow Dyad for damage. And it keeps up. Honestly, I'm impressed how much damage this thing does. Now, if I want to be fully optimal, I could, pop my Super with Cuirass, and then do some swaps. Oh, it looks awful, but where the heck is... I don't have Peacekeepers on me, but I could swap to Peacekeepers, and that would give me even more damage for Barrow Dyad. The only issue is I really don't like Peacekeepers, so I really didn't want to do that. You can do that if you want. There's some cool setups, I call them cool, with double SMGs where you can first unload Barrow Dyad's first mag, reload, and then you swap to a second SMG, unload that to get your Peacekeeper stacks up, and then swap to Barrow Dyad to unleash the, whatever the heck it's called, the 6 seeking projectiles. And, I mean, those do damage. It does look good. I just would never recommend using 2 SMGs in a build. What I wanted to test is if it's viable in a build like this. And it is. It's actually really good damage. Of course, you will still be beat by a Queen Breaker or by probably any other meta. But as a substitute, Barrow Dyad is insanely good. Like, for example, it kind of happens fairly often to me that I run out of heavy ammo during a damage phase. For example, we could say this is my build. I don't know, something like that. For example, if I run out of Queen Breaker ammo, what I can do is, quickly stop the machine gun in case I find any heavy, and then go to Barrow Dyad to, finish either the damage phase or run the next damage phase. it'll do respectable damage for that. I believe it's kind of the new replacement to Outbreak Perfected, especially because Outbreak scales a lot with a fire team using Outbreak Perfected. But if you're alone, it kind of feels just, I don't know. I don't think it does enough damage when you're the only one using it. So Barrow Dyad has definitely a spot for if you're the only one swapping to a different weapon for damage. It has a spot there. It's really good at that. Now, I did watch a video from Astacross, you know, our favorite damage testing YouTuber, comparing it to Final Warning, which Final Warning is the supreme king, as far as I can tell, for primary damage. At least, you know, being the only one using it. I think Outbreak can scale higher, I'm not fully certain. But the point is, Final Warning can cook even harder if you use Mechaneer's Trick Sleeves, a Hunter exotic. I'll show the numbers on screen right now, directly screenshotted from Astacross's video. I'll link it in the description as well. And yeah, this thing is insane. Final Warning is crazy good, but it is really annoying to use, in my opinion. First of all, I'm not a Hunter main. I will probably never be. My order of preference for the classes is Titan, Warlock, not play the game, and then Hunter. Basically, Final Warning is annoying to use, and I'm not a Hunter, so I don't want to use Mechaneer's Trick Sleeves. And the whole mechanic of charging it up to fire, you know, I think it's like 5 bullets charged, and then you do 2 clicks or 2 individual shots, then you charge 5 again and do the same rotation. I don't exactly know, but the point is, I know that the meta strat to shooting this thing is really annoying, so I would prefer not to use it. And I love this thing during Into the Light. You can see I got quite a lot of kills because it did Unraveling, and Into the Light we had Unraveling orbs, just like we do right now. So this thing was cooking, literally cooking. It was really fun to use. However, you know, the charge mechanic is iffy. I don't like it much, which is why I would recommend Barrow Dyad to most people. Even though, you know, the farm is a farm of all time, you know, it's pretty awful. It is so much easier to use for damage. For Clear, I don't like it, but the only reason I can recommend it is because you can swap something in like a machine gun. So, you know, it's acceptable, I guess. And with something like this, you could also, you know, have insurmountable skull fort, so you can add clear with your abilities and then do damage with your heavy, or I mean with Barrow Dyad, and I don't know, a special of any kind. I'm just gonna throw in Lotus Eater to match these two, and you know, you can also add clear with your machine gun. So I mean, it's definitely a good weapon to keep in your inventory, in your, you know, kinetic weapon storage. I don't know what to call this part, but yeah. I think it's really solid. Now, I personally am a very big fan of Grandmaster Nightfalls, and if you go over here, where the heck is Conqueror, I have gilded it basically every time I have, you know, been playing. It hasn't, I mean, I've played for like 2 years, I think. I don't know if you can even see how many times I've gilded it. If I equip it, maybe? And I guess that means 4. The point is, I love GMs. And I wanted to try this weapon in GMs, and let me tell you, it was not great. I'll show a clip right now of why I don't like it. But like I said, I like this thing for individual target damage. The issue is with a champion, for example, I guess most specifically a barrier champion. What you want to do is, you know, unload the first mag, then he'll put his shield up. You gotta swap to another weapon, pop his shield, for example, in this case with Lotus Eater, and then go back to Barrow Dyad, either finish the reload or just unload the your stacks of panic response. I think that's what it is. The issue is, if you have remotely competent teammates, the time you do that, they've either just killed the champion raw without even stunning it, or you just won't have time to shoot your panic response shots. So it's kind of a dead weapon to me, because it can only really do damage to the final boss. It's a GM. I don't know. I feel like you want to use different weapons for a GM. Like, I don't think this is a great weapon for GMs. Not great for barriers. I guess unstops is still not great, because you want to stun them, and then you want to unload the first mag to load your blight shots, then you load the blight shots, but by that time they've probably already unstunned or whatever it's called, which means that your Barrow Dyad is not going to do much damage to them. So it's a weird weapon for GMs. Like I said, I mean, you have the option for the boss damage, but I don't know. I would definitely want to take something like Anarchy or Queensbreaker into a GM more than I would want to take Barrow Dyad. And of course in the GM you can't swap, so you're stuck with Barrow Dyad if you want to take that in there. And it's not great for Ad Clear, so I personally don't think it's great for GMs. My usual GM build would look something like this one here. Really love Finality's Augur. Sometimes it's even better than another teammate. You know, burn action just great for survivability and Ad Clear. Tinasha's extreme utility. This loadout is amazing in my opinion. This is at least my prismatic Titan loadout for GMs. But another possibility is this one here, which I really love this build. I might make a video on it because I use it for everything basically. Lemon Arc has me covered with overloads. Tinasha's has me covered with unstops, barriers, and overloads. Mistral Lift has me covered with, you know, bosses and unstops. And, you know, Hazardous Propulsion is just an amazing exotic. But the point that I want to get to, I got distracted right there. Barrow Dyad is a strange weapon that a lot of people love, and I, you know, respect it. It does really respectable damage, like really good damage actually for a primary. Oh yeah, I had a phrase that I wanted to say. Final Warning is better, can do more damage, but Barrow Dyad is easier to use. That's basically what I want to leave you guys with. I might leave some gameplay. I don't know how much time I've been talking now. Barrow Dyad is a really fun, really interesting exotic. Definitely worth getting. Using in specific circumstances. Most for the swap in my opinion. A Strand Warlock / Prismatic Strand Focus Warlock for Threadlings. With Hatchling it might be good. I should give that a shot, really. But for the most part, I think this is a damage swap exotic if you run out of heavy ammo. And special, I guess. But yeah, that's all I got to say for this video. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.
All right, we need one more. Keep an eye out for another Cabal drop or Centurion. Location secured, Commander Zavala.
Good work, Guard.